Hello and welcome to another episode of Durd's Backyard Garage, guys. What I'm going to do today is show you how to mount the Rhino rack awning. I have the 270 degree. This hardware setup will work with pretty much any Rhino rack or awning setup. And the reason why I'm showing this is because I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious about how to mount it if you don't want to spend the extra $400 or so on a roof rack. What I did was I went to, your average hardware store and just got a few things that allowed me to mount this extremely sturdily. Actually, check this out. It's very sturdy. It supports the whole weight, and it's just using the two brackets that the rack comes with. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware setup that I used in order to mount this without a roof rack. So here is exactly what I did. I took a stainless steel spacer and some washers, and pretty much what we did was we laid it up on top of the fiberglass topper and just kind of eyeballed it to see where it sat pretty much straight. I took a 5/16 grade 5 bolt that was 5 inches, which was way too long. I'd say you'd probably be good with 4 inches, and drilled a hole through the fiberglass topper about where I thought it would sit level. Got this first bracket on and put on the amount of spacers that made it sit pretty much even. And then I did the same thing on the front after I had finished up the back side of it. The reason why I did these big washers on it is to displace the weight, because there's a lot of weight on this hinge back here. When you open up the awning, it's massive. It's 8 feet long, so there's a lot of pressure that goes on this back hinge here. As you can see though, I'm yanking on it with my full body strength, and it's barely moving, not cracking the fiberglass at all. So it is strong enough to hold it, and this mount will work on a car, like I said earlier, as well. Here's what I did inside the topper underneath. What I did was I took one of these washers and a locking nut and just screwed it right through to displace some of the weight. This is a lot longer than it needed to be, obviously, but I'd always say go longer than shorter, because if you end up having it too short, you're going to need to go back to the hardware store. But if you go too long, you can always just chop it, which is what I'm going to do. Here's what I did for the bracket support for the 270 degree awning. I don't know if the other ones have it, but if you don't have one of these, don't worry about this part. The hardware will not reach that they give you with if you are not planning on mounting it on a rail. If you're planning on mounting it on the side of something like this, like I did, you will need to buy longer bolts. And literally what I did is just use some longer fasteners on the inside there. You can see that, in order to reach through the fiberglass. Use the washer to displace some of that weight, because it is supporting the entire weight of the awning. And that's it. I will be sure to include some pictures for you guys of it fully open, just to show that it does work setting it up this way. It is significantly cheaper than buying the roof rack, of course, and just a lot easier, honestly, to install and take off as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.